Hello everyone and welcome to a new video of Mobile Infotech. Today I'll be doing a new comparison. Once again, the Lumia 435, but this time we'll compare it to the 635, which I have a bit of time of hands on. So this is a very popular device for Microsoft and Nokia, so we'll see how it stacks up against the new cheap phone in the Lumia lineup, the 435. So here we have two of the cheapest Lumias lying before me. This is a 635 and this is a 435. The 635 was the former cheapest phone that you could buy on the Lumia lineup, and then it got preceded by the 530. And this one, the 435, is actually the latest and most cheap Lumia you can buy. The price difference between these is about, I'd say, 30 to 40 euros. You can pick this up for 79 euros off contract, and this one for about 120 euros. So the price difference really isn't all that big. But let's take a look at the phones a little closer up. So if we start at the front of the phone, one of the first things you're going to notice is that the 435 does have a front-facing camera, and it actually uses hardware capacitive buttons, whereas the 635 uses on-screen buttons. If we go to the side, we will see the exact same button layout, even though the volume buttons are a bit split on the 435 and they're one strip on the 635. So power button is on either side in the middle of the phone. Both are lacking the camera button. If you look at the dimensions, the 635 has a slightly bigger screen at 4.5 inches, and this one has a 4-inch screen. If you look at thickness, the 635 is slightly thinner, even though it's taller and a little bit wider, as you can see. And on the back, both of the phones lack a flash. However, this one has a 5 megapixel autofocus camera, and this one has a 2 megapixel fixed focus camera. So the camera quality on the 635 is a lot better. If we go to the top, they both have a headset jack, and in the 435 it's nicely placed in the middle, and you'll find it on the left on the 635. Next, let's look at one of the most differentiating parts of the phone, and that's the screen on both. If we take into account the spec, let me just light them up both. This is a 4-inch WVGA screen. It's reasonably sharp, and it gets reasonably bright actually. The biggest difference on waking the phone is that the 435 actually supports double tap to wake, which is one of my favorite features on Lumia, and the 635 does not, so you have to use the wake button to wake up the device. Speaking in terms of quality and sheer specification of the screen, the 635 has a clear black IPS screen, so I can say it's a lot better looking than the 435, as I already mentioned in my 520 screen, because this one actually looks better than that screen. And as you can see, it has these on-screen capacitive buttons that brings it to a resolution of 854 times 480, because you have the extra 54 pixels in below in here for the on-screen buttons. As you can see, there is no IPS technology in this screen, and also no clear back polarizer technology. So you can really see that the blacks look a lot blacker on the 635. One thing I did notice actually, and I'm gonna both put on the full brightness, is that the brightness on the 435 is slightly higher. You can see you almost can't distinguish the whites on here, and you can on the 635 on camera. So that's really interesting. It actually gets a bit brighter in my experience, but screen of course goes to the 635. I mean, it's a much nicer looking screen with the blacks, much more saturation, good contrast. Screen performance, like touch sensitivity and response, is on about the same level, I'd say. as you can expect from Lumia phones. Now that we've got the screens both turned on, we might as well look into the software. I believe these are both running the same version of Windows Phone. That would be 8.1 update. Let's just check that for a second. Let's see. Yeah, so they're both running 8.1 update. The 8.1, so you have of course, the drop-down menus, and on the main screen you'll have, of course, the live folder option, which is one of the best additions I think they've done in Windows Phone. So you just stack one tile onto the other and you can create a folder. Pull it out and you don't have a folder anymore. So let's talk about performance. This is where things actually get very interesting, and I think this is the part of the review you guys look for most. Let's bring in the specs. The 635 has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 quad-core processor, clocked at 1.2 gigahertz, coupled with an Adreno 305 GPU. So on paper, it's a lot more powerful than a 435. 435 has going for it a dual-core Snapdragon 200 with 1 GB of RAM. Remember that the 635 has 512 megabytes of RAM. It also comes in 1 gig now, but this is the 512 megabyte variant that I have, and I believe that's also the one that a lot of people have at this moment. So it will be very interesting to see in the couple of performance tests which one comes out on top. So let me bring up the camera a bit closer and let's do some app comparisons, because this of course is where things get really interesting. So let's do some app comparisons. So let's start with Nokia Mix Radio. Well, you see it launched a bit faster on the 635. That's pretty nice to see. Alright, let's try another app. Let's launch schedule. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. So you can see that's a bit faster on the 435, even though I actually have a lot more on this phone in terms of appointments. Alright, let's launch the news app, Bing News app. And again, faster on the 635. Alright, let's launch the next app, weather. Alright, this one, the 435, is a bit faster. Okay, pretty interesting. Yeah, let's do that one again. Alright, weather. Try that again. Alright, about the same time. I'll call this one a tie with a slight advantage to the 435. Alright, let's get into an even more interesting part, and that is the games. So let's see. Let's try first one. Let's try Angry Birds. Actually looks like to be faster done on the 435. Yeah, slightly faster on 435. 635 still loading actually. Alright. Let's actually try that one again. That was a really interesting one, I might say. Alright. 3, 2, 1. It really takes a longer initial load after I pressed the icon for it to load on the 635. Alright, let's try another game. Let's see. Ah, let's try our friends at Candy Crush. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, again, slightly longer initial load on the 635. It's very interesting. 435 claims this one as well, because actually with the app launches, the 635 handily beat the 435. But it seems in terms of games, which are mainly the heavier apps, it takes longer on the 635. Yeah. No thanks. Right, again, the contrast is just so striking. It's just crazy. It's not like the 435 is all that bad, but the 635 is just a lot better. It was also the thing when I compared the 635 to the 735 a while ago, which has an AMOLED screen, clear black screen. So you can really see that the price difference does really make a difference in the viewing experience. Also see the viewing angles much worse on the cheaper model, which is actually a bit logical, but still. Alright, let's try another app. Let's try SixTag. Alright, actually faster on the 635. So with apps, 635 really seems to be kinda taking the lead. Alright, let's try one of my other favorite apps on Windows Phone. Let's try the MyTube app. Wow. So it actually started the app a bit faster on the 635, but it loaded the content faster on the 435. So that's pretty interesting. Let's try this one again. Three, two, one. So about the same kind of performance you get. Alright, let's try another game. Let's see what we got here. Let's try Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1, go. You see, it really reacted a bit slower on my touch on the 425. Don't know why that was, but again, the 435 screen just isn't that great to look at from a different angle. Let's see what comes out on top. Seems to be going neck on neck. This is 635 slightly faster. Let's see what the game looks like. Alright. Alright. I must say, the swiping response is a bit, maybe slightly a bit better on the 435. I don't know if it's the texture of the glass or something else, but definitely I think performance is about the same. Alright, let's try another game. Let's try Subway Surfers. It's a game. It's a nice game to play, but on Windows Phone, it's kind of takes a long time to load as compared to other platforms. Let's see which of these Windows phones does a faster job at loading the game. It seems the 425 is doing it a lot quicker. And just as a disclaimer, both of the apps are installed on the internal memory, so there should be no differences there. And 425 finished first. 635 taking quite a little while. Still taking quite a little while, yeah. Alright. I'd say performance is similar on both. I just have to say that in terms of this is the screen quality of the 635. You just get a slightly nicer experience in the graphics, even though the graphics are about on the same level and are really acceptable and pretty yeah, standard to the rest of the class of phones that these two phones belong to. Alright, let's try a bit of a heavier game now. Let's try Dread versus Zombies. It's a quite nice game to look at. Slightly faster on 435. Let's try this one again. Dread. 3, 2, 1. Let's try it again. I'd say about the same speed in terms of launching the game. Let's see. Let's see a little gameplay on here. Lots of menus in the games, and that's not very nice. Just press and press on and press on and press on.
This is Justice Department property. This is Justice Department property, and I'm taking it back.
So slightly faster again on the 435 when starting the level. It's pretty interesting. Let's switch it up. So, let's see if we can get ourselves some zombie action. Yeah, me too. Alright. Let's see. Let's try one more game. Yeah. This one is also a pretty nice game. It's kind of Asphalt 8 clone, only it's like 10 times as small. I believe it's only 50 megabytes to install. So let's give this game a try. City Racing 3D. Slightly faster boot animation on the 635, so yeah. Let me get test going.
Let's get it on.
Alright, next. Let's just load a level on both of them. The graphics are again, just like with Subway Surfers, they're the same, but just a lot nicer on the 635 because of the contrast and the screen quality. I mean, 635 outdoes the 520 in terms of screen quality, and even the 520 was slightly a nicer screen than you get on the 435. Alright, now one of the more practical tests. Let's see how fast the browser performs on both. 3, 2, 1. actually preloaded a page on both of them, so that should be interesting. And the browser actually launched a bit faster on the 435, so that's pretty interesting. Okay, let's load up another page. So browser performance seems to be on par once again. Oops, one touch too many. Let's just load that page up again. And let's load up an article. Yeah. Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. I'd say maybe the edge goes a little to the 635, it reacts slightly faster. But performance of the browser, the souplesse and the fluidity is just the same, buttery smooth, as we've come to expect from Windows Phone. Let's try activating reader mode on both. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so similar performance, that's really nice. Alright, and now for the last practical test, let's do the camera launch, Lumia camera, on both of them. Say when an opportunity comes up and you want to snap a quick picture, which one would be faster? 3, 2, 1, go. Wow, 435 is quite a bit faster. Still nothing on the 635. Yeah, that took quite a while. Let's try that one again. Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. This sound faster on the 635, so they both had around that they were faster. Let's try and settle it with a third try. See if there were any mistakes. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. The 635 is slightly faster with bringing out the camera. Alright, I think this is the most fun part of the performance test, one of the, well, personally for me maybe. In general, it's quite hard to say that which one is faster with apps, but the final part of the app comparison and performance speed comparison is of course multitasking. Now this one has 512 megabytes of RAM and this one has 1 gigabyte of RAM. And we've seen with the previous models that faced off against the 435, the 435 easily won because it has double the RAM. But I wonder what will happen if we do the same test with a phone with a lot faster chipset. So let's try CD racing. Okay, so CD racing, yeah, it locked into the RAM on the 435 and not on the 635. That's also a way to do it. Okay, now let's try Draft versus Zombies. No, Draft versus Zombie doesn't wait. That's clear. Let's check out Subway Surfers. Subway Surfers is also reloading on both. Let's try Temple Run. So both reloading, but a lot quicker to resume on the 435. So the 1 gigabyte of RAM really does make one hell of a difference when multitasking. So those were the games. Let's see, 6 tab. So faster to resume again on the 435. So it's really funny to see that a device that's cheaper with 1 gigabyte of RAM outruns it in terms of multitasking, which is something that a lot of people do. Again, the camera a lot faster to resume on the 435. So faster to get back to the home screen. One thing I do notice is that when returning to the home screen, the animation actually shows up a little more fluid on the 635, a little less so on the 435, but it does do it faster. So that's pretty interesting. Minor difference, but still. So now let's take a quick look at the cameras on both. So that's another difference that you'll notice. I also touched upon that on my previous comparison with the higher end Lumias. You have a little less controls on the 435 because of course it has no autofocus, and you have some more options on the 635 once again. So that's a bit of a difference. Camera is actually the same deal as it was with the 520 and the 620. It's just a lot better in the 630, 5 megapixel autofocus, 720p video recording HD, and this one is limited to 480p video. Even though if you install a third-party video player, it will play 720p like a breeze. So that's pretty interesting why they've chosen to do that. Of course, one thing that's lacking on the 520 and also on the 630, which is really something it's kind of a bummer on the 630. No front-facing camera. Whereas here is you do have a front-facing camera. The timer, front-facing camera. Yeah, so you do have a front-facing camera. It's not all that good, but it's very useful for Skype calls, for example. And yeah, selfie as a profile pics, if it's a small size profile pic for something like on LinkedIn or something, it will do just fine. So the last part of these phones, both of the backs are actually removable. Both come with 8 gigabytes of internal storage, and actually let's talk about the battery. You've got a 1560 milliamp hour battery on the 435, and I believe an 1860 milliamp hour battery on the 635. In terms of battery performance, I'd say 435 is maybe slightly a bit better. It will really get you to 2 full days, whereas the 635 inches more towards 2 days by the skin of your teeth, or 1.5 days of active use. In terms of design and feel, if I would conclude on these devices, which one should you pick? It's the same with that I said with the other devices actually. If you really want to have a front-facing camera, 435 is your guy. If you take priority to the back camera being pretty nice, then the 630 is nicer. Also, another difference to factor in with these one, unlike with the 520 and 620, is that the 435 really hits that sweet spot at 4.5 inch. So it's a little bigger than something, say like an iPhone 5S or something like that, but it's still very usable with one hand. Performance other than multitasking with games is very, very good. And we saw that the apps actually do launch faster on the 635 than they do on the 435. If you play a lot of heavy games, I would still go for the 635 because of the better screen and the contrast. That just gives you a whole better experience when you're playing games. Games just look nicer. Movies look nicer on here when you're taking pictures. So all in all, I don't know, it's pretty hard because the price difference between these two isn't that great. Obviously the 635 is a little bit more expensive, slash 630, so of course you also get 4G with the 635, which you do not get on the 435, but you also have the 635 without 4G, that's the 630, so yeah, this is kind of a hard recommendation to make. I mean, the 520 would be a better buy because it's cheaper than the 435. 620 because the screen is even better than what you get on here, and it has a front-facing camera, and it has a flash on the back, which these two both don't have. So there's not that much to separate them. Also, I personally prefer the hardware keys to the software keys, the on-screen buttons. It just works a bit better, but on the other hand, these capacitive buttons aren't backlit, so sometimes I had in the dark that they were a bit hard to look for, but it's something you get accustomed to and used to when using both of them. So my conclusion, I think the best deal would be, if you really don't need the front-facing camera, try and find the 635 with the 1 GB variant, because that will perform identical to the 735 that I reviewed earlier on my page. You can check out that video if you want, and that would be a very nice combo, because 1 GB of RAM really does make one hell of a difference. Multitasking is just simply better on the 435, even though the apps are a bit faster when starting on the 635. So this was kind of a hard one, actually. I hope I've helped you maybe take a choice between the two of these if you're looking at them. Maybe a slight note, I'm really trying hard to get a fellow Android phone in this price range to really see how they compare to these crop of Lumia devices that I've all handled on my channel, because I must say, like, guys, like, for 100 euros, below 100 euros, these are fantastic smartphones with a fantastic experience. Not even for their own platform, but really when compared to every other smartphone. I mean, I've compared some of these devices to my friend's 4S, and they're just a lot faster and more fluid, and that's like from Apple, for example. That's the only phone that comes close in terms of price, quality, and in the price range, even though that's a higher end device. So really both of them are very good devices, and it really depends on your priorities. You want a bigger screen, 635, you want a more compact size, better multitasking, and a front-facing camera, 435. But both of them, I can't really declare a winner here. Personally, I wouldn't. I'd have a hard time choosing. Let me just keep it at that. Thanks for watching, everyone, again, and I'll see you guys in my next video upload.
Yo, can you feel me, God? Can you feel me, star? Can you feel me, like, you know just who we are? Can you feel me, yo?